Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever from whatever part of world you're joining in to this webinar series. Today, we're going to be talking about winning in digital with cross-channel content consistency and unbiased experience management. My name is Ashish Kapoor. I am Senior Director of Digital Solutions at Altudo. I am coming from a digital background where 16 plus years I have invested in doing transformational journeys with Fortune 500 clients, and I have diverse experience across industries like insurance, sports, retail, CRM. So I'm a visionary leader, a solution architect from background, and working in Sitecore space from 8 plus years. I have co-presenter with me today, Corey. She's gonna be introducing.
Hey everybody, my name is Corey Solly. I'm the Vice President of Enterprise SaaS Sales at Sitecore. I've been with Sitecore coming up on 4 years now, and today we're really going to be talking and focusing on some of the things that you may not know about Sitecore, a lot of the new solutions that we have, and kind of what our vision is for the future of the MarTech space.
Yeah, thank you, Corey. So a little bit about Altudo. So we are in Sitecore space 15 plus years now. Platinum partner, we have done tons of digital experience, redesigns, migrations, helped Fortune 500 clients. And over the period of time, we have attained so many awards in delivery excellence, customer impact, awards with various other partners. So we are one of the largest organization having 7 plus MVPs, looking at the scale in total number of employees we have. And we have a diversified large ecosystem of partnerships to basically build DXPs and heavily focused on Sitecore overall. So jumping back to the content topic. So content experience is the customer experience. And because of that, we know in order to get right experiences, to make them memorable, to make them engaging, to have experiences that drive business, brand need to have strong content foundation. But we have been seeing content explosion, right? So in recent years, brand have seen a lot of content explosions with 45% of content online going unseen and unread. And that brings to a point that we are humans and we are complex. We behave differently at different point in time. Reflecting back a bit during a symposium, what we understood the same problem. Is your content worthy of customer focus and muting the noise? What we learned is like 5% of content gets 90% of attention. And the race is to generate that 5% of content. But there are leaders who are doing this correctly. There are leaders who are doing it right. And what they are doing. So what we learned is customer first is the primary focus, to mute the noise, to deliver what customer really cares about, lead with authenticity. Be bold in your messaging, the way we are presenting the content and generating new content. And last, like stand out of the audience. Like we are seeing like content explosion, but eventually we need to come out of explosion and create content rapidly, very fast. So today we're going to be talking about three major topics, which includes content marketing complexities. How do we create, manage, and deliver content using for any channel? And then modern day omni-channel content competencies. Talking about content marketing complexities first. So what we are seeing is there are two stakeholders, business stakeholders and marketing stakeholders. They are seeing these complexities from various angles. Business stakeholders are seeing like content need to work harder, content asset production is very expensive, partners are disconnected from their operation, the content life cycle or the content creation cycle is too long. Whereas marketers feels like we don't know what we have. It's like difficult to find. It's becoming hard to consume the right content. It's becoming hard to rework, and like a lot of effort duplication is happening, and harder to generate the measure the real ROI behind the content. Which brings back to the point how typical content assembly looks like. So we have knowledge bases, CMSs, DAM systems, marketing automation, and this is like typically every other organization definitely is having. And then we have all metadata around the content. So what is happening right now is like we are specifically creating content for a channel. For example, like if there is a page we need to create, out of the metadata, we are creating title, abstract, quotes, thumbnails, and then when it goes to landing page, we are generating specifically content specific to the landing page. So do like newsletter emails need a different attention, social media campaigns need different elements from the same set of content. For example, social needs imagery sets and all.
Hey, so like Ashish was talking about, there's a lot of challenges with the whole entire process of content creation, managing, distributing, etc. And the experiences of your customers, or the expectation of your customers in terms of the kind of experience that they have, that they want, the bar of that is really being set by companies like Amazon and Uber, and the ones who give their customers really good experience. So being agile from a digital perspective is critical to your business, right? You have to be able to add the new kind of experiences that your customers are expecting as quickly as possible. It's no longer the case that you can, wait a year or longer to implement some new kind of experience. They're really wanting something really quickly, and you have to be agile with that. Having content that's consistent across different channels is a major problem for people. It's totally understandable, particularly, the more consumer-facing content that you have to create, the bigger the challenge is, because you are really tasked with having to have a tremendous amount of content velocity, flexibility and reuse, findability and reuse. Being able to actually, we see this all the time with people in terms of challenges. Being able to just find the content that somebody has created, so you're not having to recreate the same content again and again, is a huge challenge for organizations. And it all really starts with being able to have a cohesive content strategy and a way of managing that and building all of that out. So, Content Cloud, we're going to be really kind of focusing on today, and that's with Sitecore Content Cloud. And that's the area where you can create, manage, and deliver your content for any channel. This is really about omni-channel content creation and delivery. So this is what I talked about at the top, saying, new things with Sitecore. This is really what we're talking about here. Is we've got three key pillars. Content is always kind of foundationally where we have been a leader and we're continuing to lead in the space. And that's what we're going to focus on today. But we also have, just so you're aware, for future exploration if interested, we've got Engagement Cloud, which is really about marketing automation, personalization, being able to personalize experiences across all of your different channels, and then Commerce Cloud. So that's B2B, B2C, marketplace, all in one in that. But we're going to focus today on Content Cloud. So there's a term in the space, if you're not familiar with it now, called composable solutions. What does composable really mean? Well, first of all, composable is not really what future it's about now, but it's about having pieces that work really well with other parts of your tech stack, right? So everything that we're talking about today and everything that we really talk about with Sitecore, we are meant to be a piece of your entire tech stack. So as you add new pieces of tech into your stack, Sitecore will be able to integrate to those. If you have pieces today and you're adding Sitecore pieces, we'll be able to integrate really easily. And we've got, the modern architecture to do all of that. And the idea is we want to be a good neighbor to your entire tech stack. So everything is really architected around what's referred to as mock architecture. Again, this is very, very modern. It's what helps the agility and the interoperability of the stack. So that really stands for microservices. So if you think about the Uber app, for example, what microservices are, right? Uber didn't build a GPS system. They didn't build a payment system. They didn't build, any kind of a tracking system. They've used microservices for that. What all they built was the top level experience for their customers, and that's really what the modern architecture does. API first, so you have to be fundamentally API first in order to be able to really easily integrate with upstream and downstream systems. Everything that we're talking about is cloud native, so it's true SaaS solutions, not just on-prem in the cloud, but actually true SaaS solution. And then everything that we're talking about is also headless, so your developers can extend the platform as much as they want. So starting with the components of Content Cloud really starts with content operations. And this is what we're talking about in terms of helping you with your content strategy, content planning, content creation, working both internally and externally, like this says third-party sorted. I mean, being able to collaborate with all of your teams around the globe and internally and externally is really kind of foundational to the content of operations. So with content operations, it's a couple of little screenshots on the right there, but you're able to really plan and visualize your content strategy, really be operationally efficient. I mean, a lot of people that we talk to are trying to do this kind of work in spreadsheets because they don't really know that there's platforms out there that can really help. So instead of doing that in a kind of kludgy way, you're able to actually bring this into Content Hub and kind of have a macro view of your content strategy along with micro views. Also, along in the Content Cloud, we have a digital asset management solution. And one of the things I always like to say is it's not kind of your typical legacy DAM where it's just like a place to hold finished assets, whether they're integrated to another system or not. What this is really meant to be kind of a living and kind of the heart of your marketing organization from an asset perspective. It's where you can actually go in and create your assets. Let's say you're starting from a photo shoot all the way through, that process. And then really importantly, being able to model your business in Content Hub. So all of your businesses are obviously very unique. And then this automotive examples, we have entities that it created on brands, ranges, models, trims, features, accessories, specifications. You could have paint chips on here. And each of those has its own metadata that makes searching for and finding the assets that much more quickly, that much easier. And this is really important. So rather than having to manually tag assets with these this different type of metadata, you just link the assets to it, and the metadata automatically inherits down. Like I mentioned earlier, we're really API first, so we can, and we do, kind of bring information in from upstream systems that your marketing organization needs access to. So that could be a PIM, that could be, even a SharePoint or Box system, and your marketing organization augments that information on that asset, and then is able to send it to different downstream channels, including product information. So, single source of truth for all of your assets, for all of your channels. Really, really important for organizations of all sizes, really. You don't want to have to be, you're able to manage version control, renditions. There's AI for auto tagging, managing your digital rights. All of that is done, within this one system. Next, really, we're talking about our XM Cloud and search. So these are, again, full SaaS solutions. This is really the only full SaaS CMS, web CMS platform out there where you have really the best of both worlds. You have drag, drop, and publish WYSIWYG, but you also have the headless mechanism. So it includes web-based personalization, A/B testing. I talked about, the drag and the drop, really, really fast performance. I mean, again, we're able to scale. We absolutely can help you meet peak periods that you have, scaling higher, without you having to worry about managing any of the infrastructure, any of the managed services, none of that, because this is a true SaaS model. And in addition to being really good for marketers from a usability and ease of use perspective, it gives the great agility for your developers because it's headless to be able to really build different apps and extend different capabilities on top of XM Cloud. Search, so it includes our Sitecore search. This is you could call this a competitor of like a Coveo, but it has a lot of really, really great functionality. It includes fast predictive, so it'll figure out what you're trying to do in terms of your search. It uses AI to kind of infer intent and content aware rules in real time. Some of the additional features are, you can configure the search by relevance, ranking, different sorting often, give suggestions, attribute faceting on kind of any attribute that you want, match highlighting, content recommendations, and then there's a lot of analytics behind this as well, where it'll actually give you the details on, what kinds of things people were searching. If they were searching for something and weren't able to find things, you can actually put in a question and it'll pop up the answer right in front of you. So there's a lot of great, and this, by the way, works with XM Cloud, but it also can work with your own CMS. So if you have a CMS and you're looking for a search solution, that's something that you can use us for as well. Ashish?
So one of the coolest feature which XM Cloud brings on table is headless delivery. And Jamstack has been used as an architecture to deliver scaled, pretty fast, pretty robust digital applications using stacks like Next.js, JSS, and Jamstacks. So I can fairly imagine the challenges, the real world challenges of implementing mobile first, faster delivery, faster time to market. All of those needs are going to be addressed with help of using Jamstack as your implementation strategy. So now quickly jumping to, like, we have seen, like, we have multiple websites or omni-channel delivery in a digital world, but how do we basically solve those challenges in a real world situation, right? So what we have encountered is, like, we created 8 key tenants of any omni-channel digital solution, which includes like omni-channel personalized experiences. The focus should be on keep on evaluating and tapping customers what they need and optimizing the journeys pretty frequently. Full 360-degree view of customer, that is pretty important. And when we are talking about going composable, which means like having a right stack taking over and providing all those services which can basically help you bring in and building 360-degree view of your customer at a centralized place, which we can basically use to orchestrate across your channels. Streamline operations. So this is again a very important tenant where automation, site maintenance, IT operation, development operations, governance, all of these can be streamlined in a single operational channel. Ease of use is a big element. I can fairly see, like, since XM Cloud was been launched, I was doing so many demos with that. And if I compare the traditional way of doing Sitecore implementations, so I see like it's like fairly easy to use. So this is a very important element for content authors to basically use and do a lot of self-help. Cloud hosting, and this is the biggest one from infrastructure perspective. We need not to like worry about where it is being hosted, who is maintaining, how it is being maintained in the background. Builds are happening without impacting the implementation in channels. In fact, like, this brings to notice, like, during symposium, I was doing a demonstration, and what I encountered is, like, during the demonstration, everything was working fine. And like from Sitecore, I got a notification that there is a build happening, so there might be some glitches, but we never noticed that something they were upgrading in the backend while we were performing demos. So everything was pretty smooth. So this is a very interesting feature to be included in omni-channel digital solution. Modern and future proof, and that is where, like, all the latest technologies which are helping us building a headless architecture, which is a faster performing cloud-based technologies, future proof from scalability standpoint, so that as and when my needs are changing, I should be able to like scale them out as and when needed. Marketing self-service, this is very important because many times we do opt for monolithic architectures and stacks on the table, but at the end there is a heavy dependency on IT team to basically manage and provide assistance. So self-help service is very important, where authors and marketers feel responsible and feel they have control on their own environment. Ease of maintenance, which again is like reducing cost of ongoing support, upgrades. We need not to worry, we should not be worried as we are going and moving ahead towards the SaaS model. So overall, like, these key tenants, if we are thinking and evaluating while moving or designing a omnichannel solution, we're definitely going to help. A very important factor comes into picture when we talk about content. Like, we have seen, like, there are problem statements. Every other organization is definitely facing content explosion. Keep on evaluating the content, writing new content every other day. So how do we basically like govern overall content operations? So it starts with like decoupling your authoring and content operation overall. On the left hand side here, we see like authoring responsibility is divided between Sitecore Content Hub, where the experience side of it is with Sitecore XM. So what is happening here is multiple teams situated at various geographical locations, regional marketing teams, global teams, business units. All of them definitely need some sort of content, and we need to deploy a right decisioning model or a content model or a governance model on top of this, which will help controlling the need of every time creating something new versus can we actually reuse or repurpose? Do we already have assets? Or do we need to like procure new assets, or like what are the rights around using across various channels? So all of those decisioning model need to happen outside of channel, which means like in conventional CMS systems, this responsibility is merged directly within the CMS, whereas this is a marketing piece, authoring piece, which need to be decoupled. Whereas on the right hand side, your XM implementation is more focused on the presentation side of it, using the right content across channel, and then applying a presentation template, putting governance on top of this, is easily searchable, and then deploying the experiences, and further journey starts with like gathering insights, filling into some CDP, and like using the data being gathered in some sort of personalization engine, which again triggers the experience side of it. So how do we deliver content as a service, right? So how this is happening? So basically, on the XM, on the content cloud side of it, which Corey explained earlier, is like we have Search, XM Cloud, Content Hub One. So all of these stacks are supporting API-driven content delivery, and that is where like I was like following back. It's a content as a service. So we have content as a service, which means like I can basically extract the content, use my GraphQL APIs to basically channelize the content, deliver the content towards various channels. The power of Vercel, Next.js, and Sitecore. When we combine all of these three together, this basically is helping a lot in building a very fast performing pages. Load time becomes like almost 100 times faster than like any sort of conventional implementation. So when we deploy, when we come out of the channel, like come out of creating content for channel, and divide a clear responsibility between like what is on the authoring side of it, what is on the experience side of it, and like onboard the composable stack. So these are like some of the example bottom line ROIs which we have seen while doing implementations with a couple of like Fortune 500 organizations. And this is something, if you start evaluating your journey of digital transformation and engagement, you will be able to like see, which includes like reduction in content search time, increase in speed, faster time to market, decrease in asset recreation cost, increase in revenues, number of hours being saved in marketing time, versus reduction in brand asset creation cost. Whereas on the very right hand side, like when we actually like orchestrate towards like omni-channel, cross-channel implementations, it basically helps building a lot of loyalty with your customers. We have seen like drastic improvement and increase in the engagement, user experience improvements, increase in conversions, and increase in self-service, which basically drive a lot of ROI towards the content operations. So now the bottom line question is like, well, why considering a Sitecore Content Cloud for omni-channel content delivery? So this is one of the famous question like I was getting during symposium, and we were evaluating like what all are the core benefits and how do we basically channelize the energy towards right direction. So the decision factors involves the architecture is always on. It's a SaaS-based delivery. Next level of CMS experience, flexible pricing, lower cost of development based on usage. We can basically manage when the light should be on, when the light should be off. From the environment side of it, you have full flexibility and control of all your environment on a single dashboard. Interoperability with other stack is very important. There, like no implementation works with a single stack. So we do have seen like 20, 30 plus stacks combining together and building an application. And that is where interoperability really helps there. Initiating scalability, and that is where, like, as and when we need, today we are talking about content a lot, and then when we have to move from content to experience side of it, then we have a bigger stack available to basically scale out, start using personalized CDP, and then, like, if we are trying to direct to consumers, we have stack available for order, like doing commerce using order cloud and various other stacks, in fact not limited to order cloud. Ease of maintenance is a bigger one. Like, we have seen, like, monolithic architecture is difficult to maintain and manage over a period of time, and like, bigger organizations definitely run into bigger initiatives to keep on evaluating and working on some of those pain points. Speed to innovation and market, and this is one of the biggest ones. So when we are able to rapidly deploy in websites, sites, implementations, digital experiences, so it helps a lot in improving the ROI of the content. We can invest in the same time which we were previously wasting in doing various other things like upgrades. That time can be evaluated back and, like, realized back towards doing the core thing, like analyzing the journeys, like fine-tuning them, tailoring them, working on experiences. Enterprise grade cloud system, it's hosted on Azure, and it's a highly secure, highly scalable environment, which definitely adds a lot of value. And future ready infrastructure, and that is where we have seen, like, various implementations, various type of scalable architectures are available right now. And, like, when it goes to, like, is my infrastructure future ready, like tomorrow, let's say if there is a new hosting technology coming in, so we are not worrying about those things as this is a SaaS model. In the behind the scene, like, the infrastructure is keep on evaluating and evolving, which is bringing a lot as a value on the table. So these are some of the core decision points I can consider, or I always want to consider whenever I talk about like what should be the decision factors for omni-channel content delivery. So we do have a workshop to address more on the omni-channel or XM Cloud. So we're gonna paste a link in this chat. So if you guys feel interested, then we can talk more, showcase live demonstrations of XM Cloud, Content Cloud, Content Hub, everything, and how your digital experiences can be evolved. So we can definitely talk about this thing. So I know, like, we are reaching towards the end of this webinar, so I'll open the stage for questions. So if from the audiences, if you have any questions, do let us know. In next 5 minutes, we're gonna be taking some of those core questions.
Thank you, Ashish. Really excited for this one. We have one question, and I will urge the audience to use the question tab to ask Ashish and Corey more questions. So the first question, Ashish, is Sitecore Content Hub 1 is a replacement of XM Cloud?
Well, oh yeah, like this is a really interesting question. When XM Cloud, Content Hub 1 was launched, there was a rumors like what exactly it can be used for. So basically, Content Hub 1 is a lightweight CMS system. So I can think of like the regular Content Hub is basically using a lot of assets. There's a lot of workflows around that, and we can do campaign management, various other things in Content Hub. Whereas for smaller organizations who are basically doing smaller implementations, maybe Content Hub is very heavy to be utilized because they will not be able to use most of the features out there. So what Sitecore has done is that they created Content Hub 1, which is a lightweight CMS, which means like when you have Content Hub 1, you might not require a formal CMS because it is fulfilling the need of CMS. It is also fulfilling the need of having a DAM to manage your digital assets. So with Content Hub 1, you can still go ahead and like build your smaller applications using, again, headless approaches, where like Content Hub 1 can serve the content using lightweight APIs.
Yeah, so let me just add to that, because I think you're also asking about it vis-a-vis the XM Cloud, right? So Content Hub 1 is a pure play headless CMS. So there's no front end, there's no drag and drop WYSIWYG built into the platform. The idea is that your developers want to create their own front end using React or other types of tools. That also, you can create content, like Ashish said, and get access to assets there. And then XM Cloud is a combination of WYSIWYG and drag and drop along with a head mechanism, right? So the XM Cloud is a hybrid, and Content Hub 1 is a pure play headless CMS.
Thanks, guys. As Ashish just said, the link to the workshop is in the chat section. You can always have a one-on-one with our SMEs on the same topic. So Jason has a very interesting question here. He says, we are on Sitecore XP with XDB enabled. What will happen to our analytics data if we choose to move away from Sitecore XP and opt for XM Cloud?
Yeah, so such migrations, we first need to evaluate like what level of data you already have in your XDB, and there are ways and tools to extract the XDB data and push towards a formal CDP for processing. So what Sitecore is having is the experience part of the whole composable stack, where we have a Sitecore CDP, a Sitecore Personalized, both of them available to manage the personalization. It is not that Sitecore, when we move away from XP and like go to XM Cloud, that we will not be able to do personalization out of the box. There are personalization rules and engine available on XM Cloud as well. But when we have to do more unique sort of personalizations, where like journey orchestration used towards channels and heavy personalization when we try to, so it made more sense to basically decouple the responsibility and onboard to push all of your XDB data towards a CDP, and then use the power of Sitecore Personalized to basically orchestrate the personalization on your web channel and various other channels as well. Do we have more questions?
Thanks. In the interest of time, Ashish, we will be answering them on emails now. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Ashish and Corey, for enlightening us on this a really hot topic right now. In case you have any questions or you want to get in touch with Ashish, you can reach out to us at marketing@altudo.co. It's .co at the end. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Ashish.
Thank you.
Thank
Hope
you.
you all.
And thank everybody for participating.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.